Hello, everybody. I'm here to discuss episode 4 of Online Survival 4, coming off of a tribe swap episode. As usual, I'm here with Aspen, Meg, Alex, Mike, and I want to start with ups and downs. Whoever wants to go first.
I guess I'll break it off.
Go right ahead.
First and fucking foremost, I seen somebody in the comments say not too much on Susan. They said that to me. They told me to like chill on Susan. But this is not gonna be that. So I should just go ahead on and preface it. Okay. First of all, my down is definitely Susan's ass. I don't even know if she could go no lower for me. Just and yeah, that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. We'll get to it. And who went up? Who went up for me? God damn it, leave me alone. My up was I'm gonna say I'm gonna give it to Ashley reluctantly. I am. I don't want to, but I will.
Interesting. I have Ashley up and Mary, but I put Riazo up, and I think Riazo is in a very good spot in this game right now. Am I saying his name right?
Yes, it's Riazo.
Yes, and Tabitha need to stop saying Rizzo or whatever the fuck she keeps saying because it just annoys me.
Well, I don't know if they'll ever get it right. They keep saying Typhoon 3 episodes later.
Typhoon, yes.
The names are not that difficult to figure out. I don't understand. I have him up. I think he's in a really good place. I'm sure we'll get to that later. Down, Muggsy and Dar. I think they're in the worst positions. I had Susan down, and then I had her up, and now she's kind of stagnant for me in the same place that she started. And I had Dom up, but then he also, I was like, actually, no. Aspen.
Aspen's getting calls and
getting blown up.
But yeah, I think Ashley, Mary moved up a notch because I think she's in a good spot right now too.
Obviously Susan is a mastermind. She did that blow up on purpose. No. But I don't think Susan's down. I think because of Ashley being so up, that Susan has gotten all the way up too with her. So my ups
do you think that Ashley just manipulated her to use her for a vote?
100%. But
Susan exactly what happened.
But Susan was like the bottom of the barrel for me. So now
she's still bottom of the barrel,
right?
At least she's up from where that is. So for me, that is still an up. Like for me,
she's about to be bottom of the barrel of the whole game and not just one half of a tribe.
Susan's not winning this game. We are very aware, but I think at least her position is better than last week's. That's why I have her as up. But it's not because of anything that she's technically doing. But my up is fully Ashley. She is kind of like being very, very calculated and methodical, and people are not clocking it yet. People are still viewing her as someone who's super sweet, but she is cutthroat and probably the most cutthroat out of all of them because she executes. So that's my up. I do agree Darstar's trajectory went from, for me, pretty low, really high, and now really low. Riazo is like the opposite, low, high, and now it's really, really high. So I don't know. Things really change on the dime. And Jason was up for most of the season, and now he's out of the game. So it's been a really good 2 episodes.
All right. Well, I think Ashley being anything other than like the biggest up is a disservice. This was this was a masterclass episode. I'm gonna go as far to say that. Like the way she handled this, she just ran laps around everybody else in that tribe.
Mm-hmm.
I do agree with what Alex said, and I don't think Susan should be put down because Susan was ready to leave the game, sure, but at the same time, we're in a merge, and who's going to target Susan? There is a
Agreed.
very, very real possibility that we see Susan in the final two. And I'm not saying there's a very real possibility that we see Susan winning, but I think there's a very, very real possibility that Susan is now going to coast into an end game.
Yeah.
And like just not only did Ashley get the exact vote outcome that best furthered her game, she like set it up in a way to paint a narrative at the merge, looking that far ahead. This was an amazing episode. I was so impressed with the forethought and the planning and the execution of getting Susan to say just the right things to form this narrative at Tribal. It was awesome. I'm also going to put Riazzo out because I think that this like burgeoning alliance that Riazzo is in, essentially including Ashley and people from like multiple tribes, is probably going to be the new dominant force in the game. And I think he's in maybe the best position, having good connections from both tribes in this new group. So he is also up. And then big fall for Dom, like left out of the vote. One of his closest allies is gone. He really hasn't taken that next step in gameplay yet. Like he was just kind of coasting in a majority alliance, which there's nothing wrong with in the pre-merge. But you just got blindsided, and now
The
you're in the
trajectory's
merge.
picking up, and he's not keeping up
He's not.
speed.
Agreed.
Exactly. So a big down for me, and those are the main movers, like very small shifts elsewhere.
Well, we'll start with, I guess, Riazzo and Rita and Emily coming over to that tribe, reconnecting with Riazzo. Why do you think they have such good feelings about Riazzo, even though he didn't show up to the to make the decision in the first place?
Absence
makes the heart grow fonder.
He's a familiar face.
The two of them like swapped over are on the bottom technically if it wasn't for Riazzo. So I think there's no other choice but to be like, oh my God, Riazzo, you're back. You know, like I would absolutely be the fakest person. Like if I didn't like him in the first tribe and I see him again, like there's no way that I'm being like, we gotta get him out. It's gonna be like, hey, how are you doing? So I think they played it smart.
There also was like no bad blood between them. It's not like they had a lot of beef. It was just like Riazzo was unpredictable and unreliable as far as showing up to chats. But I mean, that at that point in the game so early, that could have gotten him voted out on that tribe. But now, I mean, he's doing a lot better in that aspect. So yeah, why would they come over and do anything but cling to him?
Mm-hmm.
And like Susan said it, and then I think like maybe it was Emily who said it when they all got to the new tribe. Like, we didn't even know if you were still in the game. It's like, what? What do you mean you didn't know if he was still in the game? Like he just
they were all so
disappeared one day.
confused in that chat, though.
They were all
like,
really confused.
Is he not coming? Where is he?
Yeah, and I that confusion was still here in this episode, which really cracked me up.
Yeah.
Now, Aspen, you're calling Muggsy Thugsy. Last week was kind of catching on in the chat last night, but
oh no,
what do you think is going wrong for Thugsy?
She too much of a thug. She need to lay that shit alone, take it back to New York, wherever she got it from, and bury it under the fucking ground. She being too fucking aggressive. You can't just be out here calling everybody bitches. You can't just do that, you know? Like, and I get that she just, because sometimes I would just be doing it. But right now, like, girl, you being a bitch. And time out. First of all, I just wanted to point out, Susan said something so hilarious to me. She was like, this game is bitching. And I'm like, what the fuck does that mean?
I missed that.
I just was like, wow, okay. Any fucking way. But just the fact of her calling Mary a bitch, and then Riazzo going back and telling Mary, like, you know, she was calling you a bitch, right?
Did you like that from
Riazzo's rat game? Like that is my favorite thing. Like he does it so because we're watching it, we can obviously tell like he's literally doing that, like bringing bad things to other people and being like, look what they said about you. But like in the game, you're not thinking that way. You're like, oh my God, thank you for telling me. But it's just so funny to watch him be like, yeah, like confessional of him being like, Mary probably won't like that, and then goes to Mary and be like, she called you a bitch, and Mary's like, oh really?
Like, isn't that rude? I thought that was so rude.
Yeah, like you're just constructing chaos, and no one is here to stop it. And like, I love it. It's so funny how intentional he is now that he's swapped. Like the first tribe, I thought he was just a bozo, just like trying to like, stay in the game just by being him. But like the minute he swapped over, he like kicked it into high gear. It's so interesting.
Yeah,
I'm
'cause
loving his gameplay right now, and I
Yeah.
like want him to take it all at this
Yeah.
point.
Yeah, I agree.
Mike, do you have something to say?
No, I mean I'm loving it and I'm loving him. I'm just like I'm so fully Team Ashley after
Yes.
this point. Like I'm good with the Riaza win. Don't get me wrong, that'd be super impressive. Like the craziest comeback story of like being on the borderline of not being in the game anymore to coming back and like playing a great game because he is. But like I'm just like fully an Ashley stan at this point in my viewing experience.
Ashley, if you're watching this, week 1, I loved you, and I'm so excited. Last week, I did miss the episode, and I actually thought she was a little bit down. So I'm glad I missed it and didn't talk about it because she's all the way back up again. So
Look at
I do
you
want to say
talking
the
about
players.
Brandon,
Go ahead.
Alex.
obviously, never doubted.
I do want to say the players do love this podcast. They have told me. I think I have them afraid of leaving comments because I told them not to leave spoilers in the comments because I was triggered from Little Brother and some of your players that you worked with leaving spoilers in the comments. But yeah, they do enjoy this podcast.
Comment.
Well,
comment.
I enjoy them. I
Comment.
love this cast.
I want to see all the comments because I always check the comments like
Yeah, me
before
too.
this episode to see if anybody's like shit talking my bad takes.
That was my first time seeing it when I seen somebody tell me to like not too much on Susan, and I'm like, you know what? I was trying to be respectful, but
Oh my god.
I love Susan. I can't wait for her to
Why?
be in the final 3.
Why?
Because
Why?
she's genuine. Like
yeah,
she's genuinely like
she's just herself.
yeah,
Yeah.
but like she's also smart enough to be like, well, I don't want to go. I just have the feeling. Like intuition.
I hated that whole thing.
No,
I
no,
know.
cringe,
She was
cringe.
so
Absolutely
close getting out of
not.
there. But I would
Yeah.
say intuition is very high. Both Mary, Muggsy, Susan, they all have intuition. They just aren't the most game savvy to kind of bring that into the forefront. But Muggsy knew she was a target. Mary knew that Jason was, both Jason and Dom were bullshitting her. Like these women are understanding things. They just, unlike Ashley, they don't know how to put it into like gameplay, but they know something's up. So all 3 of them, you have to give them props. And I honestly think all 3 of them will actually kind of go farther than you think. Like I do think some of these bigger players will flame out because they're just scheming constantly and they don't know how to reel it in and not be a target. So like looking at Rita, looking at Tabitha, like people like that, I think flame out a little bit early versus some of these other players.
In defense of Susan, though, like she absolutely read everything completely correct. That's the thing is you have to look at like she correctly assessed exactly where she was in that moment, and like saying what she said isn't quitting. And anyone who says that, I will debate you. It's acknowledging the reality of the situation and saying, listen, I'm not going to have negative feelings if you all vote me out. I've had a great time. I like all of you. I don't want to go. But I know what's coming because at that point, let's be honest, it's what was coming.
Yeah.
And kind of saying that this was probably not her very direct intention at all. But that's what kind of led to her staying. Like,
but don't you feel like she could have pushed it and had a conversation with Jason or Dom and said, like, listen, I understand XYZ, I'm on the bottom, da-da-da-da-da. But I'm a loyal player to you. And she has been like so into that team gameplay this whole time. And we're headed into what they didn't know, but it had to be coming soon, a merge where this is an individual game. So I would be like, hey, I'm not good at the games. Take me into the part of the game where they're all individual challenges. I'm not going to win. You'll beat me every time. And I'll still vote for you.
I'm going to defend why Susan made the right decision not doing that. This has been multiple episodes, and Jason has admitted this in his confessional this episode as well, that he has been chomping at the bit to get rid of Susan. Now, granted, could she have volunteered for challenges and gotten into his good graces? I guess. Or he would have just came up with another excuse to turn on her.
Yeah, I agree.
And so, like, again, it's a correct assessment, and, well, it's a bit unorthodox. Like, she read what she needed to read, and when the opportunity presented itself, she Rode someone else's coattails, yes, but she still seized that opportunity. So
I think it's
put
all
some
going to
respect
depend
on
on
her
how
name.
she can defend this move with the other people of her original tribe.
Well, that's actually literally like gave her a game plan of like, hey, like say this so that when it happens, you know, like people will understand why both Ashley and Mary flipped to get out Jason. You know, like she gives there is a path for Susan. And it's very interesting because I love saying these things to make Aspen like pissed off. I'm low-key just doing it just to
I'm
troll
cringing.
you. But no, like I genuinely think Susan, she doesn't know exactly why Jason didn't like her, so there was no way of like being like, hey, I'm loyal to you. Jason, first of all, had a confessional where he was like, you know, Susan's a very close ally. When did you ever align yourself with Susan? You always wanted her out. But also Susan, like, she knows she was being loyal. There was no other reason for her to be on the outs, but because of these comp reasons and stuff like that. So there was no way for her to actually like beg herself to stay again and like vote out one of Ashley or Mary. It was just never gonna happen. So I'm really fully on board with this flip. And I think that the others will be mad, but there's other bigger fish to fry right now, you know, now that they merged.
And hear me out. She's adaptable. She's on a tribe where they're pushing this tribal mentality, right? So of course she's gonna talk about that.
Yeah.
And that was why she had based her persona around that. Like, hey, I'm playing for the team and I'm doing this. And then when the opportunity to change presents itself, she like took a hold of it. I think she's savvier than anybody is really giving her credit for. Now, is it all intentional? I'm not saying that. But like you can just naturally be good at floating. And that is a valid strategy. That gets people to the end and that wins games. So I'm putting some respect on her name at this point so I can get proven right down the road.
Okay,
Aspen, what do you want to say?
Exactly. Because I'm not putting no fucking respect on her name. I don't care. I'm the exact opposite. Literally the most far left. Take her ass out back, kick her out the game. It's over. Like, why would you even want to? And this is why I was reluctant to even put Ashley up. Because why would you want to even align with somebody like Susan when she over here talking about some? Well, just kick me out, I guess. Like, well, bitch, get kicked out then. Bye.
Who said she aligned with her though? She manipulated her for a vote.
Yeah,
she did manipulate her. You right.
Now.
You right. And that's why Susan is just so Susan. I just it's just I'm just like so disgusted. It's
no way.
Yes, bruh. No, get her ass out of here. I don't respect you being like, well, you know what? Y'all gonna vote me out anyway. You should have been trying to do that. You shouldn't need Ashley to be telling you, no, fight for your right, fight for your game. Like, bitch, do you or do you not want to play?
I can't wait for her final speech to be like, you know, the most pivotal game move was when I told everyone to like vote me out, and then we all went to work instead. Like, and then it comes to Aspen being like, "You dumb."
You don't have to control every vote to win the game.
You don't have to. I get it. I just don't like what she did. I don't like what she did. I don't respect it. I feel like it was weak, and like you literally are gonna do that at any given moment. You at any moment could be like, all right, you know what? They about to vote me out. So y'all just vote me out. What if she do that again?
It's not intentional. I don't think Susan did this intentionally, but it is a way to play. Like in Little Brother, when I was being like, everyone was saying that I'm a snake, and like from that first game, which I did play that way, I just kept saying, put me on the block. Let me be your pawn. I will always be on the block before you. Like, that's not me wanting to get out, but that's me asking you to put me on the block to keep me, to continue to put me in danger. Like, that's not me wanting to go. That's me wanting to, like, have an angle, you know? And I don't know if Susan's doing that, but that's what it ultimately happened, because at the end of the day, Ashley was like, why are we taking out Susan when, like, doing the other people's, you know, outside dirty work, right? Where we could actually target someone who is in the fold, someone like Jason, who is going to be hard to get out when it gets closer to the end.
Susan is like one Final Five, Final Four, like master stroke move from like winning the game. Like, they're never going to vote her out. They're never going to vote her out. Like, I don't really see why anyone at this point would choose to target her.
Aspen's gonna explode.
No,
If
I
Susan
get
wins
it.
this game, I'm literally going to lose it. I'm gonna lose it. You're gonna have to
And I'm not even
introduce me
saying
on the
that
last
that's what I want to
episode,
happen
Nick.
because I'm still
You're not.
fully an Ashley
There's-
stan. But
There's so
listen.
many big personalities in this game. When this merge happens, they are all going to run headfirst at each other.
Yes.
Exactly.
Yes. I'm so excited.
We'll get back to this heated debate over Susan that I didn't expect, but let's go back to the other team for a little bit. How do you think Reed and Emily played off their tribe swap?
I think they
Yeah.
played it really well. I think
Yeah.
like I do think they're going to be a part of that alliance that I'm seeing come together with Riazo and Ashley, and then those two. I think maybe
Tabitha,
Dom
don't
ends
leave
up back
Tabitha
in
out.
it. I
Don't leave
don't.
Tabitha out. She in there.
Yes, yeah.
For votes as long as they need to, and then
Tabitha has no loyalty to anyone. Is kind of how I'm
Yeah.
viewing her game. Like she's gonna like the wind blows one way, she's gonna leave. But you're right in that they're probably considering her in this alliance right now. That was the name that I was really forgetting more so than Dom, in my opinion. So I think they played it really well because they saw their opportunity to get an unofficial like 3-person majority with Riazo. Not that that would be a plurality 3 and 3, but I think they were right in that Tabitha would have come to their side more so.
Yeah.
I would have liked to have seen another round of the swap before we had seen a merge. But you know, you only got so many people, only so much time.
Yeah.
But I would have liked to have seen how this actually would have played out. It probably just would have ended up in a Muggsy vote off, but we'll see.
I'm not ready for Pugsley to go.
I do think she is next. Like I think
I need to see more drama.
I do too. But the merge, I'm just thinking about like, you know, it does seem like Muggsy and Darstar are kind of just by themselves. And if the merge tribe wants to like avoid the chaos for one round, Muggsy is that person. But if they go like, I can either see it where, you know, all the outsiders get out, like Muggsy, Susan, Darstar, even Mary, and then everyone else fights it, or it just goes bananas and like it's about control. And I do feel like one thing about Ashley's game that I am concerned about is like, does she ever let go of control? Because she hasn't let go yet. Like every vote that she's been a part of, she has driven it. And so will she like pull the reins on it and not be
They haven't noticed that so far though.
No, but I mean, I think eventually it will happen, right? Like you're not going to be able to hide when everyone knows what you have done, right? So I think the question is, will she be able to hold it back a little bit? She will win if that's the case.
Back to Rita and Emily really briefly. I liked how they handled it, and like someone had talked about like the going down the list of questions aggressively, and that maybe rubbing people the wrong way. We didn't see that.
Mm-hmm.
I think this was handled well by them. Like I think they're smart. I think they're about to be in the majority alliance, and if we see a downfall arc for Ashley or anybody, they could absolutely end up on top, and they could absolutely end up in a position to win the game.
True.
I still believe that Emily spilling the idol is going to be her downfall. That's my thought on her.
Yeah,
we'll see. I thought she was about to tell Riazo too.
Yeah, that's what brought it to mind. That's what brought it to mind.
I was like, please don't say it. Please
she's a little
She did a
too
good job. She did a good job, and Rita did too. I'm kind of for Team Rita now. I wouldn't mind if Rita took off.
You've always been Team Rita.
Yeah, I don't think you've ever not been Team Rita.
That was your very first compliment of the season.
She was kind of falling off. I thought she was gonna get in like to that weird little space with Jason. But honestly, I think Jason leaving kind of helped her out a little bit because now they ain't associated.
Yeah, paradoxically, I totally agree. Like, yeah, you just lost your number one ally, but at the same time, like, Jason never grew with the game.
And she has like 3 other choices for a number one ally. She didn't need Jason.
Yeah, I agree with that. Jason didn't play badly. He just, he never adapted. Like he started off really strong and he just never continued to like be on his toes. He just feels like he's always safe, and that's when it leads to his downfall, right?
I mean, he got outplayed by like Susan. Like he couldn't even keep Susan in line with him. Like
no, he didn't get outplayed by Susan.
He got outplayed by Ashley.
Come correct.
Yeah, but he like
obviously
let it
it's all
happen.
Susan's
He
work.
had a He had the thing, right?
He had
did
a
get
banished.
banished.
He could
He
have
did.
banished.
Is that
Stupid.
back in the game now?
That was his mistake.
The banish.
Mm-hmm. Oh, it's like done so.
If he banished Susan, would Ashley and Mary what would happen?
No, he
I
wouldn't have
think-
banished Susan. He would have banished Ashley or Mary.
Yeah, he would have
Oh.
banished one of those two, and then like,
And
And I
then
think-
all of them
do
would
they
have
really
went.
risk
I think
rocks
that's
for
easy.
Susan? Probably not. And we, like he
No.
literally just got outdone completely. Yes, by Ashley, but at the same time, he couldn't even keep his like really close ally like close to him.
Yeah.
That's what I meant by you got outplayed by. Like
Yeah.
you don't even know where she's voting. If I have an advantage and there's anybody on a 5-person tribe that I don't know where they're voting, that advantage is getting
Vanished.
used on someone.
I agree with that.
Unless I missed the conversation, but it didn't even seem like he knew what she was doing. So just forget that. Like, yeah, just forget that.
I don't
You
think
haven't-
he cared because he thought that both Mary and Ashley was going to vote for Susan.
Nick, we have very strong feelings about
Yeah. Any other thoughts on vigilantes? Because you guys don't seem to have a lot. You're all to talk about Susan. but-
You're right. We really have like gone away from them. Rita and Emily, I think they've always done good things each episode, and so I'm kind of curious to see how they like. They're only doing well. They're never like the best in the season or in the episode. So I'm curious to see how they navigate in this merge because I feel like they are types of people who will do really well. But I just don't know how they would get the control now that Jason's gone. Like, do they target the other side? But it's very fractured over there. There's Star and Muggsy. Then there's the
Dugsy.
four of them.
Alex.
What is it? Bugsy or Dugsy?
Dugsy.
Thugsy.
I still don't know which one it is.
We also called her Bugsy, but when I was talking about it last week, Aspen thought I said Thugsy, and it's just grown from there.
Okay, so Thugsy, Tabitha's with Ashley. So, like, when the merge happens, that side is definitely first to go. Like, someone is going. But yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, and I don't think Muggsy's in a very good spot. And while I think she's an interesting character and I am very entertained by her, I just feel like we haven't, and maybe we just haven't had the opportunity. We haven't really seen her like play. She's not really having strategy talk. She's not trying to plot and plan. She's just talking shit. Like,
Yeah.
she's not trying to maneuver the game to go in her direction. She's just like, this bitch voted for me and I don't trust this. She's two-faced, but like, what do you want to do about it then?
Yeah.
Do something.
Which blood every season needs someone like that. I swear, it would make the game just
Yeah.
so much more.
I
more
mean, it's
interesting and
super
dynamic.
entertaining and I think she's hilarious, but
Wait, who was it
yeah.
for our season?
Which ones? I could probably know.
Like-
yeah, which ones? There's plenty of people who acted more on
I
emotion
don't know, 'cause-
than strategy.
Who was
Like-
the shit talker in Little Brother? I don't remember like a strict shit talker who just doesn't do anything
Yeah.
else but shit talk.
Deleon.
Yeah,
that's what I was thinking.
And I'll say this really briefly is like why we don't talk about this tribe as much is because like Rita and Emily haven't really gone to a tribal where they've had a reason to flex their strategic
Yeah.
chops at all.
Yeah.
Again, the merge is your chance to prove yourself, and you don't got to come out in the first vote of the merge and try to control it, but like you got to start setting yourself up, and we'll either see that or we won't, and that's gonna I think determine the rest of the season.
Do you guys remember the trailer that Nick posted? Who was doing the same pitch to every single? Was it Rita? I feel like there was a part in the trailer where it was like this one person is just like lying to each person.
I don't remember.
I feel like it was Rita,
Well,
but
Rita keeps saying she about to be the bad boy, and I was like, you ain't even doing nothing. Bring out the bad boy antics.
I-
bro.
At the
It's
same time, she
coming.
hasn't had a reason to.
it's
Like, what do
coming,
you-
Aspen.
yeah.
Don't worry.
Come on, get with it. Let's go.
She told you it's coming.
She told you it's villain. It's her era. It's her time.
I'm here for it.
Sue's big move.
Well, I guess we have to circle back to the talk of the episode, that being Susan. So when the tribe swap happened, she's like, she doesn't want to play the challenge again. She's like, you forced to do it.
Surprise, surprise.
Do you think it was her intuition that said they're coming for her? Or do you think it was a self-fulfilling prophecy?
I think that you can sense, right, when there's like a shift in the way that somebody is talking to you or acting towards you. And, you know, we don't see them all of these conversations. And there are much more conversations happening. And like she said, she could sense Jason was just different. He wasn't the same. So I think that she knew it was coming. She was easily able to see her position at the bottom of the game. And had it not been for Ashley, though, she would have just succumbed to that. She would have been like, okay, I had fun. Look at the pretty lights in my neighborhood. I'm going to go.
My least favorite is her being like, well, I don't know what you're talking about. Like, who was the third vote?
Yeah.
Mary. Like,
I know.
Like,
I wrote in big letters in my notebook, like, Susan,
think
Mary.
for a second. If Ashley wouldn't say this to you without thinking that Mary would do it, like, why would you just be like completely confused?
Who else is there?
This is what I mean. She just is not there. She not there. She need to cut it. And I'm trying to be nice in respect for Boo Boo, because Boo Boo is the old person that I respect and want to come on the show one day.
I have played games with Boo Boo, and let me tell you, Boo Boo would kick. I shouldn't say this is gonna put a target on her sometime in the future if she ever does do one of these. But like, man, she would whoop ass. She's more with it than anybody I've really played with. She's
No, I believe it. I believe it.
It's
But
not. It's not an age
Susan
thing.
is
I'll
not
tell
up
you
there.
that.
Susan is not up there. I don't know if she had too many beers, and Dom's gonna say she must have been smoking something. No, she was not smoking. I smoke. This is what a smoker looked like. She was not smoking, unless she was.
I mean, you were smoking during Little Brother and being pretty messy, so I don't know. It could have been smoking something.
Smoking does not help you during this game. I will attest to that. I don't remember any conversations.
Oh, but I thought you like it made you feel more comfortable and confident, right? When you were talking, Meg.
Yeah, but then I would like forget what I was like, what I had just talked about with somebody, or like, I wasn't able to like focus and like strategize well.
I was high once, I think, during Little Brother, and I literally had a panic attack. I was like, I don't know what the fuck just happened in this entire day. Like, I was like, because I usually think about what I talked about and like what is the next step, and I was high the entire time, and I was like, what happened? Like,
I thought I changed it then, and I only smoked like before I did my like confessional with Nick, because then I would like talk more and like think more about what I was saying. But yeah,
I have been sober
for these chats.
No, I've been sober for every minute of these, and I've had a hot mess meltdown in every single season I've ever played.
Now we know.
You know what?
We know.
No, but speaking of smoking,
it's not the weed's fault.
You know what it is? You know what Muggsy's problem is because she has a jewel attached to her neck. She has a necklace jewel. I seen it this episode, and
I called it out like the first time.
Yeah, you guys.
Literally, any bitch that got a jewel that close on their neck, something is wrong. Something like the little vape is like that jewel is flying.
That shit sucks when you lose it though, and you can't find it.
Stop it,
man.
Aren't we past Jules? Like, haven't we been past Jules since like 2019? Like, I feel like that's literally gone. But
literally,
I guess not.
No, you know, she honestly, Muggsy seemed kind of old. Like, not old, but older. Like, gotta be in her like 40s. She got like,
I'm pretty sure she's probably like my age.
What is your age?
39.
Oh, okay.
She has kids around the same age as mine.
True.
Wait, you think I'm old?
Anybody over a certain age.
Yeah,
Aspen's just like ready to throw hands with anybody like over a certain age.
I know. What is that age, Aspen? What's your limit before you start?
It's higher than 39 apparently, because she was like, okay, good. When
right. Nick
Meg just like barely made the cut for you.
So on this tribe, though, Dom was the first one to throw out to Ashley and Mary that Susan's not playing in these challenges. Why do you think it fell back on Jason? Is it because he just has this leadership, always talking quality?
Oh yeah, 100%.
Yes, it's exactly.
He was the one focusing on that too.
Yeah, it doesn't matter who said first, like who was the first to like bring something up. It's who is like relentless on it, who is like trying to control it. Dom was just. To me, he came off as like stating a fact, whereas Jason was like, "This is animal for you to maybe vote her out eventually." And like both Ashley and Mary are correct. Like Jason is more of the controller of the bunch. So I don't know. I think Dom is actually a sleeper pick for like getting really far. I don't see a reason for anyone to really take him out right now. So I want to see him do something.
Yeah, he got
other than
pissed when he saw that blind side come in.
Yeah.
He
It
threw
might
it. He like
Wow.
threw the phone, got out the camera and shit. I'm like, boy, what is you doing?
Yeah.
You can't
He
just
stood-
have it.
Yeah, he stood out to me early, but like he really has felt like he's fallen like
Yeah.
really complacent and
Yeah.
just like, yeah, you're coasting in a majority, but now that your majority just lost one of its founding members and you're going into a merge, it's do or die. And like a few episodes ago, you're telling me merge, Dom gonna do or die. I'd be like, oh yeah, he's gonna be great. And now though, I don't know. I'm starting to think he might not cut it.
I don't know. He was pretty tight with Rita.
Maybe he'll wake up. You never. I mean, like he clearly
Rialto.
navigated with Ashley and Mary, where they weren't even thinking about like, oh, which one, Jason or Dom. It was just very much Jason.
Mhm.
So, and especially this, like being a blind side, like Dom has every right to just wake the fuck up and be like, okay, let's actually play and make sure I cover my bases, because he did not think it was going to be this hard.
And I could absolutely see a world in which we get another swap episode, this tribe loses again, and they go to tribal and vote out Susan. Like
Yeah.
I could see that. And I could
Yeah.
see them like Dom being like, it's cool you left me out of the vote. Let's like go into the merge together. You know, we're gonna
Yeah.
link back up with Rita. We're gonna make a majority alliance. We're all gonna be cool. Like we all know like Susan could jeopardize our games. Like I could see that happening. So like I'm not saying like Dom is like terrible. I just like I wasn't like I haven't seen anything in
Yeah.
4 episodes.
Mhm.
Yeah.
What do you think was the moment that Ashley wanted to flip this vote, even after Susan wanted to quit, allegedly?
Immediately,
Yeah, I feel like it was never like intention to vote out Susan.
as soon as she heard Jason say that he was wanting to get rid of Susan, she saw her way.
Yeah. Yeah.
I like too that she brought that up in her last conversation with Susan before the vote, and she didn't need to. I think she already had Susan, and Susan was already going to follow her.
Mhm.
But I like that she was like, let me just put the nail in the coffin right here. He was already saying he was going to go after you. He was already telling me that you don't participate in challenges. And then she played it well in the tribal questions too, in conversations where she was like, well, did you not play the games? And, she acted kind of oblivious and was asking the right questions and getting the conversation going. And she just did amazing.
It's amazing. It was a super amazing performance this episode.
I just wish it was anybody but Susan.
Oh my god!
Like that Susan went in there and she was like, well, like I just wanted to quit because it was either gonna be me or be one of y'all. And it's like she literally told her like if it wasn't me, if it ain't me, then it's gonna be one of y'all. Cause we said we was gonna stay strong. That's what we said. And I'm just sitting there.
I was getting nervous towards the end because Ashley was playing that like did he do that? Like it was very much like questioning Jason to the point where I'm like, well, Jason sniffed this out. Like, is it too much where Jason's just like, because especially with Susan just kind of going after Jason and being like, I sense something, like she was definitely targeting him. And I was like, he has an advantage. Like, is this a point of the game where he like uses it right away and like
I thought so too.
Outcome? I was getting scared for Ashley. I was like, what are you doing? Like,
well, especially in her conversation with Dom, I was like, Susan, shut up. Like, why are you talking so much about Jason with Dom? Like, just play it off like, who are we voting for? Which one, Ashley or Mary? Lie a little bit and just make it to the vote.
No, Jason, the second he got that advantage, I knew it wasn't getting played this episode. He was too self-assured and that this was going to go exactly the way he thought it was.
I wrote that too. I was like, he's so confident.
Yeah.
He is.
Read it and everything he did, everything he said, the way he presented every single conversation, the way he went in with Dom and was like, I was 95% sure, and now we need to do this. And then he changed his mind again. Like, he just thinks there's no one else could possibly be plotting. No one else could be doing anything else. He really thinks that everything just revolved around him.
Mm-hmm.
I like that he enjoyed himself though. Like he was like saying how much he enjoyed playing. Like I appreciate that, and he did play hard, and he wasn't like someone that was necessarily like bad or on the outs of anything. Like he had every right to kind of feel confident, but like when you're in a swap tribe, you really should never feel confident. I get why he felt cocky enough to be like, this is going to work out.
It's the
Nick.
perfect character downfall.
Nick.
I was gonna say, Alex, I feel like Jason was this season's Carrie with a K in your season when you blindsided her during a tribe swap.
I mean, like you just can't. You can never. The minute you have something new coming your way, you just can't think about what happened to be, like in the past. Like he was in control before, but like this is a whole new environment. Even though there's 2 people out of the 5, like you can never count that out. And so I just think he just got carried away with that cockiness.
Mm-hmm.
What were you gonna say, Meg?
Were any of these people like recruits from other games that you had played? Like, do they have experience doing these types of games like on this platform?
On like a platform like this, I don't think so. I think Riazo has played some like games though on like Discord.
Yeah.
Okay.
Why are you bleeping the F word?
Because YouTube's being annoying lately.
Oh.
Did you all? Well, I know Aspen probably didn't, but did you all like that Susan was saying, "Oh, I wanted to play in the competitions. It was Jason choosing everybody in the competitions to try and throw Jason under the bus."
What an icon!
It made me laugh. I'll say that.
You didn't
Susan
like
icon.
I wish I could roll my eyes harder. Literally, it's like no, I don't even care for Jason, but it's like no, he wouldn't try to choose who did the challenges. No, he wouldn't. Like everybody just usually just be like, oh, I'll do it. Susan, you was trying to avoid that shit. Just say that shit and ride your little goat tail ass on somebody else's coattails.
That's how you know she's intentionally, playing this game. And she threw him under the bus. She said that he was controlling who plays. Like, that's obviously a lie. So that means she knows everything that's going on. She's so aware that she's 5 steps ahead that you have no idea that she's even 5 steps ahead. She is the best player of the season.
If she can get a jury to buy that at the end, I'm never going to shut up about this season. Like, I swear.
I'm very excited for her to win this game.
Oh my God.
How did you all feel about Mary as a swing vote, even though she was left out of the last vote?
That was such a good speech from Ashley, like getting her to realize, and like you're putting that in her hands, and like that's how you're rebuilding your relationship with her. Like everything about that, like yeah, I'm looking at it from like an Ashley centric perspective, but like at the same time, I think Mary's done really good in like a few things this episode. Like super props to her, not getting like super duper mad that we saw about Muggsy calling you a name, like not going like on a war path that we saw yet. Like you can go vote her out, but like you don't got to like make that your whole game. Like that doesn't work out well. Speaking from experience, and then like 2, like letting bygones be bygones and making the best game move instead of like feeling that bad about being left out from a vote. Like she played this really well, and I think she made the right decision as the split vote here, because why wouldn't you keep someone like Susan around at this point of the game?
I feel like I was concerned that Mary wasn't like keeping up with what was going on in the game, but I do think that she has some sort of viewpoint on what's happening.
She needs to,
I don't know,
people feel like she's their number one. Like the one thing I'm missing from her is that she doesn't make people feel like she's their absolute ally. Like she is always someone
unpredictable,
right? And someone that people go to and be like, "Do you want to do this?" Like you never. That doesn't really help you when you don't feel like you have someone like 100% on your side. You have to pitch to that person. Eventually, that will make her an easy vote to be like.
Mm-hmm.
Right. So I think she
her
needs
in the merge being like somebody where they're like, I just don't know where she's at. So
yes, she needs to be aware of who is where, and she needs to pick a side, or at least like pretend to pick a side, and just like be like, I'm with you. Just like let me know what you want to do, right? Because right now she is kind of a free agent with Darstar, Muggs. Like she's kind of okay with Darstar, kind of okay with Ashley, kind of okay with Tabitha, but like it's never been like number one, and she has. I don't know if she's aware.
When I saw her and Susan on the same team, though, I literally wrote like, "Are Mary and Susan about to dominate this game?"
Yes, yes.
They're gonna be swing votes for the rest of the game. And
Final
like,
two.
Final two. It's gonna be great.
But did she
Boring.
say strings as her password for piano?
She did say strings.
That
There's-
bothered me.
yeah,
It's technically
What?
correct. Listen. It's technically correct.
It is
Pianos have
correct.
Strings, but it is a terrible clue to give for
Exactly.
piano.
Yeah,
It's a terrible clue, while being technically correct, which warms
especially
my lawyer
after
heart.
already hearing the instrument clue, because then I would have been like, guitar.
yeah.
Yeah, if you say
Literally
keys, like your teammate gets that. You
They
say
should-
strings, I would have guessed violin too, or
Yeah.
guitar.
I couldn't think of keyboard either for some reason. I was like ballad, and I was like, wait, I don't think that's gonna help. But like keyboard was a perfect clue. I just don't know why I couldn't think of it.
Yeah, that was a good clue.
Mhm.
They just said keys, man. Like I don't. You said
Yeah.
I know. I was
keys
like, keys.
after the word instrument. That's a straight layup.
Yeah.
And if someone gets that wrong, that's on the guesser.
Yeah.
You're trash.
What are you drinking tonight, Aspen?
T.
Uh huh.
Right, spiked with something.
It's like absinthe or something.
Do you all have any final thoughts on the episode or on Susan? Susan, if you're watching this, apparently you're the star of the season.
Love
right
you,
now after this
Susan.
podcast.
It's no hard feelings if you are watching this, Susan. You know, I'm sure you're a fine person, but just know I'm probably gonna be on your head for the rest of this season, and I'm sorry. I apologize in advance.
You always
For every
pick one
episode,
that
'cause
you
she's there
don't
finale
like.
night. She's there come finale night.
Yeah,
so
we're
you're gonna
going-
have a long
Oh,
season
Mike.
of hating.
We're
Yeah.
talking about Susan for the rest of the season.
Yeah.
It's going to happen.
Well,
It's
I
going
really
to-
like this cast. I am enjoying this season a lot so far. This was a great episode.
Yeah, I feel like even the pre-jury stood out. Like those who like played the game, they stood out. You know, like Typhon and Jason played the way they thought was best for themselves. They didn't like just sit there and let things
Mhm.
happen. So
Versus
it's-
Susan.
right, like it's been really nice to watch this cast go hard and play the way they feel. Like I feel like everyone's playing authentically. No one's like playing like a character or like being who they're not supposed to be because they think it's the best way to play it. They're all just
Right.
playing the way they are, and I love seeing that. Everyone
There's
has
so many diverse
very-
personalities in
Yeah.
this season.
yeah, exactly.
I don't
Very
know.
excited.
Y'all don't think Muggsy is acting and putting on this whole
Nope. This is exactly who
Nope.
Muggsy is, and I love you for it.
Yeah,
I
she's
know a lot of New
100%
Yorkers.
real.
I know a lot of New Yorkers. I think she's real as hell. I just don't think she watches. Maybe she does, but I don't think she like watches too many reality comp shows where she feels like she has to not be exactly this way. Because it is off-putting in a game sense. Like it's so easy to be like, oh, she said something about you. Let's get her out. It's
well
very simple.
in a real life sense. I don't think I would hang out with Muggsy. Like all of y'all are cool,
Right.
but Muggsy, she just like maybe I've been on the West Coast too long. People nicer over here, bro. Like I
It's
I
true.
need that niceness. I like it. We get the sunshine.
West
I
Coast
think
versus
Muggsy
East
is.
Coast win. Just like the most stereotypical East Coasters, the stereotypical
Yeah.
West Coasters, and just head to head that culture clash.
Yeah, so Nick, we're gonna put Aspen and Muggsy in a game together.
Yes.
Captain
And
And
Caesar.
Susan, yes, the
And
same
Susan.
team.
Susan.
Aspen, Susan, Muggsy.
Susan. Every older person that you can think of.
Yeah, Aspen, you are a little ageist this season.
Maybe.
This season, this is not new
Maybe.
This is
for
every
Not
season.
new.
It's
True,
not.
true.
I'm always like this. Even on regular Survivor, I
I
treat
know.
regular people like this.
I mean,
When
I'm
we
feeling a
did the
little
Survivor
targeted by
draft,
you.
you were like, you hate on old people every season.
Wait,
Are
what
you
about
gonna
these
get rid of
brothers?
me next for being
Actually,
old?
you're almost 40, Meg. It's over.
I
in a year.
know.
Next year,
Cut off
next
time.
year, she's turning on you. Like she's fully not gonna like you anymore.
Because you cool and we from the same state. I might give you 5 more years.
5 more years? That's
We know
it?
the cutoff, everybody. It's official.
That is-
You had 40s,
you're
that's
done.
Done. Cooked.
Any
Where in
quick-
North Carolina is Emily from?
I don't know.
Mm.
She strike me as a Chapel Hill girl.
Chapel Hill girl.
You think?
No, honestly, okay. Actually, about Emily specifically, I'm interested in seeing what she does in this game because she constantly has a very, like, her confessionals are very game oriented. So I understand where she's at, what she's thinking about these people, but I haven't seen her. She hasn't had to, but I haven't seen her activate like execution, right? So I want to see what she does when shit is hitting the fan and she's in danger, how she maneuvers. But because I do think a psychology student is going to be able to figure this out better, unlike most like Survivor players who are like, I'm a therapist and like doesn't do well usually. I do think she has been pretty okay with her read. So I'm interested in seeing where she goes. I think she's a contender, a sleeper hit as well, but she just needs to get there.
Oh, speaking of people's occupations too, I've been wanting to say this the whole game, but Ashley she is treating all these little motherfuckers like her kids, bro.
Yes.
Her kids. I'm like,
yes.
Dang. I just noticed it and I was like, I see what you're doing here because I'm finna start teaching kids. I got my first little teaching DJ class on Friday, and I'm just like, oh, you gotta be different. Kids. You gotta be different.
You can't be on drugs.
Yeah, no tea or whatever you're drinking tonight.
Yeah, no absinthe. No Aspen. Absinthe Aspen. that's your new name now.
Any quick predictions for the merge episode?
Muggsy's out.
Susan's out.
No, neither.
Susan goes on an immunity run all the way to the final two.
Hell yes.
No, I actually. Hot take: Darstar is going to go before Muggsy. I think
I actually think that too.
They're going to go. Oh, we need to get rid of Muggsy, and then last minute, someone, probably Ashley, is going to say, "Guys, Darstar is a bigger threat, so we should get rid of Darstar first."
No,
and everyone just goes, "Okay."
Ashley is fully with Darstar. Like Ashley has been with Darstar. She's not going to turn. It would be either Rita or Emily or Dom. Like it would be one of those three saying Darstar. Maybe even Riazzo. Like
Riazzo, because Riazzo, like Darstar was the one that said
that would be a good move for Riazzo for sure.
Oh, for him to get him out, that'd be crazy.
Who do you think wins a first individual immunity?
Rita.
What's the game?
Wait, can you tell us
I honestly don't remember the game, to be honest. No. But it's not regular trivia. It's some kind of trivia, but it ain't regular trivia.
Is it like music trivia? You like your music trivia?
Two win immunity.
Top two, and you said trivia related?
It's a trivia. I think it's like you get like options A, B, C of distance between cities.
Oh, it might be like a Mary win. It might be like a Mary.
Or Emily, maybe.
You know what I want? I want Tabitha to win just because Muggsy's like, she ain't that smart.
Oh, yes.
So, like, Tabitha winning would really just give me life. So that's my prediction.
Tabitha and Muggsy winning together.
Tabitha and Muggsy winning. And Muggsy just sitting there going, she just got lucky there were
she was
two
second
immunities.
Place. I was first.
That actually might not be the challenge. I don't remember what the challenge is.
Nick.
Okay. Actually,
that is a challenge at some point, but I don't think it's this round.
This is a good thing for the contestants to actually be able to say in the comments. Don't reveal who wins it, but just tell us what the challenge is. Is that okay?
Yeah, maybe they remember more than me.
They played it. It's the first merge. Like I would remember that. I actually don't remember any of my season and stuff, but
I only remember playing Pictionary.
I only remember doing the one with you, Meg, where we were just singing that freaking song for 10 minutes.
Yeah, that was my ultimate downfall.
That was Meg's favorite challenge.
I remember a lot of them, actually, because I was ridiculous about them. But, yeah. I still remember stuff I got wrong, and I'm still mad about it. That's how I know.
The Godfather will forever haunt me.
As it should.
There was a music one where I guessed Drake, and then I was like, it's not Drake. Or maybe I switched it off of Drake, and it was supposed to be Drake. I just remember Drake was involved, and I was so mad because like 3 seconds after the answer was revealed, I was like, I knew it, and I was so mad.
Well, I don't know if everybody takes challenges as seriously as you do, Mike. I mean, that's the game you won, though, was the challenge game.
God, y'all don't.
Gee, I wonder why.
Serious, y'all.
Listen, I practice challenges I practiced like cup stacking and the
I
timing,
remember.
and like it didn't matter.
Anyway, on that note, we will see what the merge brings. I want to thank you all for watching, and I want to thank you all for participating. And if the players are watching, you can leave comments in the
Yes,
videos.
talk
Talk
to
to
us.
us.
The fear of
Just
God
no
in us.
spoilers, but you can leave
Interact with
comments
us.
in the videos.
Yeah, I know. Say something and just know I'm still gonna talk my shit.
Team Susan, hashtag everyone.
Trash me. I'm still gonna talk my my shit as well.
Yeah.
We're gonna talk our shit.
I'll
Yeah.
be wrong every week and still be happy.
All right, I will see y'all next week.